Grief is a super complex emotion because it's combined of a whole bunch of different emotions. I like to refer to grief as something like anger because it's very strong. And with anger, usually people use anger in order to hide emotion or whatever the case may be. But grief, you experience different kinds of emotions, sometimes all at once in one sitting. And grief can happen at any given point, at any given time. You need to grieve something. It can be grieving a relationship. It can be grieving a dog. It can be grieving the past you. It can be grieving friendships. It can even be grieving somebody that you knew from high school that you found out that they passed, and then you're grieving knowing them, but you never really had a relationship with them. Grief is such a strong thing to experience. And a lot of people don't actually know how to manage it because they don't know how to process their emotions. So I kind of like to look at grief as like it's a little scale. And in this scale, like you're going up and down, right? When there is a peak of an emotion and it goes up like this, it doesn't matter whether it's anger, sadness, or something of this sort. If you try to stop it from peaking and try to shut it down, and I'm not talking about like you're busy and you need to compartmentalize and then deal with it later. I'm talking about like completely shut yourself down from it because you don't want to feel the emotion. You are going to leave your grief in your body and it's never going to actually be able to express itself. This is actually extremely toxic because one of the reasons why humans have emotions and they cry and they get frustrated is because we need to be able to outwardly express it, and when we bottle it up, it comes back 10 times worse. That's why a lot of people have issues healing childhood trauma, and they see it a lot in their adulthood because they've been stuffing it for so long until they can't stuff it anymore, and then it actually blows up in their face. Grief is kind of the same thing if you're trying to limit your exposure to emotion because it's uncomfortable. But if you actually take grief as what it is, and you let this peak of emotion flow through you, it doesn't matter whether you're angry or you want to cry or whatever the case may be. Find a healthy coping skill in order to express it. If that means you need to sit down and cry, cry. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to be okay again. If you are angry, go punch a pillow or scream at a pillow or go for a run or go to the gym. But don't abuse your body in the process, because abusing your body and abusing yourself for the fact that your body is trying to get off its chest and its system of the stress and the pain and the grieving that it's experiencing, you're only going to cause more turmoil for yourself. So usually you'll have peaks where it might be days, it might be a couple hours, it might be a couple weeks. And then once you've experienced all this, it might teeter and then go back down. So when you allow grief to flow through you and you allow yourself to experience it despite how uncomfortable it is, you may feel like times you don't know when it's going to stop and you just want it to end. But if you go through it, no matter how uncomfortable it is, it will get better on the other side. But it also comes in waves. You may be fine a couple months and then it may start back up. Just give yourself some grace to experience the pain that you went through.